My name is Natalie Gates. I am a senior in wildlife science, and I work as a field assistant for the American Chestnut Project.
Hello, Uvlalotak. My name is Erica Wood. I am a master's student in conservation biology, and I am Alaska Native Inupiaq and a Sloan Indigenous Fellow at the Center for Native Peoples and the Environment.
My name is Sam Quinn. I'm a private lands conservation biologist, a research assistant here at ESF, and I teach conservation biology classes, usually on restoration and kind of the mixed use landscape of helping people conserve biodiversity and do things like grow food or timber.
I decided to attend ESF because I thought it was an amazing opportunity to learn about something that I was very interested in, which was environmental work. It's very specialized, and my experience here has been truly amazing. A lot of the work at the Chestnut Project is very versatile, so we do a lot of different experiments, not only working on tissue culture and blight resistance, but there's also various different studies, and it's really interesting to be a part of all of them, as well as working with a lot of people from different academic backgrounds and specialties. I've gotten to help with a variety of different experiments. I have definitely learned so much. I think it's very fulfilling to be able to help on a project that's actually gearing to bring back a tree that was once lost in the wild. And I think it's incredible that with the genetics work and different technologies, we're actually able to develop something that is resistant to an invasive pathogen, and maybe someday we'll actually be able to harvest them again and appreciate them again.
I was seeking a graduate school that would allow me to combine my background in community engagement with ecological science. And in doing so, I found SUNY ESF and was attracted by the caliber of thought leaders and faculty. I reached out to Dr. Kimmerer after reading Braiding Sweetgrass and was asking her about different programs at SUNY ESF, and she mentioned the center and the Sloan Indigenous Graduate Fellowship. At CNPE, students have the opportunity to tailor their master's research around things that interest them or concerns that are brought up to students by their communities. And so that alone, I think, has been a really unique part of this experience. I think, too, the opportunity to bridge traditional ecological knowledge with scientific ecological knowledge has been one of the best parts of this experience. This experiment we are working on is understanding kind of the inner workings of seeds and how they might best grow. And this is great for plant propagation, but also great for helping to move plants in the face of climate change. The center has helped to facilitate opportunities where we can bring our experience and our culture into the work that we're doing, and knowledge that we have from our communities or partners or elders can help inform the research questions. My work focuses on Arctic plant ecology and trying to understand what is happening on our tundras in Alaska. This is really important because 1,700 billion metric tons of carbon are stored in the tundra, and there's a potential for that to be released as the climate warms. I'm studying a plant called Rubus camemoris, or salmonberry, and it has a tremendous ecological and cultural and personal significance. I'm working with the sovereign Alaska Native village of Igiagig, and they have already done a tremendous amount of work in adaptation planning. In partnership with them, we're able to answer questions around what is happening with their abundance on the tundra, and how can we plan to ensure that this community has access to such an important cultural keystone species going forward.
Not only am I an employee of ESF, I was also a student. I did my undergrad here from 2003 to 2007, and I did my master's here from 2007 to 2010. I teach a lot of classes, and not only do I get to restore landscapes that are disappearing and work with people that grow food to help them be better stewards of the land, but to me the most rewarding part is being able to work with students. As a student, I wanted to come to ESF because, like all the students here, I wanted to save the world, and I'm still working on it. We all are. And I remember how much anxiety you have, and you feel like everything is on your shoulders and you have to figure everything out. And I like being able to help students who are really talented navigate what it means to be an applied conservation biologist. It's my favorite part of the job. I became involved with the Restoration Science Center, the RSC, because I oversee our Conservation on Private Lands initiative, and we put the Conservation on Private Lands efforts within the broader Restoration Science Center umbrella. So I'm a private lands conservation biologist, and this is really important because about half of the land in the US is privately owned, and in the Northeast, nearly 80% of land is privately owned. What that means is we have to engage with landowners on private land in order to protect nature. That allows me to not just study natural things, but to study how these plants and animals and fungi interact with our society. It's not just helping the planet, we help people too, and that is really, really rewarding.
To anyone that's donated, I would like to personally thank you very much. A lot of the work that we do here, we really couldn't have done without your support. All of the projects are very important because they will actually have real environmental impact. It also really helps students when they're trying to discover their passions and being able to get a lot of hands-on work to build the resumes. I think it's very important and very appreciated.
I really decided to come to ESF because of the financial support that is provided both from the institution and the Center for Native Peoples and the Environment and from the Sloan Indigenous Graduate Program. Indigenous students often face many hurdles to pursuing a graduate education, and so having funding for graduate students to come here enables both personal or individual capacity building, but also enables people to bring these new skills and new knowledge gained back to community, which has huge impact.
Philanthropic donations and grants are the most important things that the Restoration Science Center has in terms of funding. Without the donations from private landowners, private citizens, we could not do what we do. We use this money to create the next generation of conservation professionals in the United States. I think it's so important to train people to not just be great scientists, but to be great science communicators, to be able to talk to anyone, to be able to understand the value of conservation to anything, whether it's producing food or making medicines that we may need in the future. So if you want to be responsible for enabling a generation of young people to become the conservation professionals we need them to be, this is how we do it.